Eva Braun, primarily known as Adolf Hitler's companion, lived a life that intertwined with the turbulent politics of the late 1930s. Beyond her infamous association, Braun pursued photography and embraced a glamorous lifestyle, capturing moments of fashion and leisure in her private photographs. Swimwear of the era, including Braun's stylish choices, reflected the evolving social norms and a growing sense of personal freedom among women. Her photographs offered a glimpse into a life of luxury and leisure, contrasting sharply with the oppressive realities of Nazi Germany. Circa 1936 to 1938, two men were photographed loading large blocks of ice at the harbor in Charleston, USA. At the time, ice was a critical resource used to preserve food and beverages before refrigeration became widespread. The labor-intensive ice trade was essential for coastal cities like Charleston, supporting local businesses and the fishing industry, which depended on ice for transporting fresh catch to markets. In the 1930s, the Works Progress Administration showcased an impressive arts and crafts display in Kansas, highlighting the vital role of art in uplifting communities during the Great Depression. Established to provide jobs and stimulate the economy, the WPA not only employed thousands of artists, musicians, and craftsmen, but also aimed to enrich American culture through public art projects and community engagement. In February 1947, a touching portrait of Billie Holiday with her beloved dog, Mr., was taken at Downbeat in New York City. At the height of her career, Billie Holiday, also known as Lady Day, was renowned for her soulful voice and her ability to convey profound emotions through music, often exploring themes of love, loss, and social justice. Between 1946 and 1948, the legendary jazz pianist Art Tatum performed at the Vogue Room in New York City, mesmerizing audiences with his unmatched virtuosity and groundbreaking style. Known for his complex harmonies, dazzling speed, and improvisational brilliance, Tatum was a cornerstone of jazz innovation, shaping the future of the genre and inspiring generations of musicians. A woman operates a holorith pantograph punch, an essential tool during the 1940 United States Census, designed to simplify the processing of population data. Invented by Herman Hollerith in the late 19th century, this innovative technology transformed how census information was recorded and analyzed, enabling the efficient management of data collected from millions of Americans. In 1936, the rhythm band of the Works Progress Administration National Youth Administration in Sandwich, Illinois, embodied the innovative approach of the New Deal to provide both employment and cultural enrichment during the Great Depression. This program allowed young people to explore music and develop their talents while fostering a sense of unity and belonging among participants. By involving youth in artistic endeavors, the Works Progress Administration not only supported immediate economic relief, but also helped shape a future generation that would leave a lasting impact on American arts and culture, highlighting the enduring power of creativity during times of adversity. Between 1936 and 1938, the streets of Knoxville, Tennessee, were brought to life by elegant storefronts showcasing stylish women's hats, a reflection of the era's vibrant fashion trends. This period saw a resurgence in the millinery industry as women embraced bold designs and intricate details that added sophistication to their attire, expressing individuality during the hardships of the Great Depression. In 1937, a women's typing class organized by the National Youth Administration in Illinois provided critical skills during the Great Depression. The program trained young women in typing and clerical work, improving their chances of finding employment in a time of widespread job scarcity. By offering practical education, the initiative contributed to expanding career opportunities for women and preparing them for roles in office administration and other fields. Between 1936 and 1938, A man working on an assembly line in Cincinnati represented the industrial growth that defined this era. Assembly lines transformed manufacturing, allowing for mass production and meeting the demands of an expanding consumer market. During this time, workers in factories also began to organize, advocating for better wages and improved working conditions, which would later lead to significant advancements in labor rights. In 1936, girls in a classroom at Wesleyan College in Macon, Georgia, were part of one of the first higher education institutions in the United States dedicated exclusively to women. Founded in 1836, Wesleyan College provided young women with academic opportunities that were rare at the time, enabling them to pursue careers and leadership roles. The college's commitment to education helped pave the way for greater access to higher learning for women and influenced generations to come. In the 1920s, Richard Byrd gained recognition as a trailblazing aviator and polar explorer, renowned for his ambitious flights and expeditions. Wearing his iconic flight jacket, Byrd led several historic missions, including the first flight over the South Pole in 1929. His achievements not only pushed the boundaries of aviation, but also provided critical data on polar geography and climate, solidifying his reputation as a key figure in early 20th century exploration. The cover photo bathing scene Coronado Tent City from the May 1923 edition showcases the lively beach culture of Coronado, California in the early 20th century. Established in the late 19th century, Tent City became a beloved summer retreat, offering beachfront activities and a laid-back atmosphere. The image illustrates the popularity of seaside leisure during this era as families and tourists flocked to Coronado, laying the foundation for its growth into a premier coastal resort destination. Around 1920, an Asian elephant at the Los Angeles Zoo became a centerpiece attraction, showcasing the public's growing interest in exotic wildlife. As one of California's first major zoological parks, the Los Angeles Zoo prioritized educating visitors about animal species and their natural habitats. The Asian elephant drew significant attention, contributing to early efforts in wildlife conservation and highlighting the importance of protecting endangered species. In July 1935, Mexican laborers set out to harvest melons in the Imperial Valley, California. The region, known for its fertile soil and advanced irrigation systems, was a key hub for melon production, supplying both local and export markets. During the Great Depression, migrant workers faced long hours, difficult conditions, and low pay while ensuring the success of the harvest. Their work played an essential role in maintaining the agricultural economy and contributed to the long-term development of California's farming industry. Around 1935, linotype machines at Anthony Hordern & Sons department store in Australia were instrumental in producing printed materials such as catalogs and advertisements. As one of the largest department stores in the country, Anthony Hordern & Sons used this advanced printing technology to efficiently promote their vast selection of products to a growing customer base. In March 1939, a Mexican family living on the outskirts of San Antonio received their water supply delivered by wagon from the city. This method of distribution highlights the logistical difficulties of accessing basic necessities in underserved areas where infrastructure was limited. The reliance on such deliveries reflected the broader challenges faced by marginalized communities during the Great Depression, as families struggled to maintain their households while contending with economic hardships and limited resources. In 1941, linotype machines and their operators were indispensable at the Mennonite Publishing House, enabling the production of religious texts, periodicals, and educational materials for the Mennonite community. The linotype, a groundbreaking typesetting invention from the late 19th century, revolutionized printing by significantly increasing speed and efficiency. At the Mennonite Publishing House, This technology supported the creation and distribution of materials that strengthened religious teachings, cultural values, and community connections. In March 1945, a portrait of Tuskegee Airman Edward Thomas highlighted the dedication and courage of African American pilots who served during World War II. As a member of the famed Tuskegee Airmen, Thomas was part of a groundbreaking group of aviators who proved their exceptional skill while flying combat missions in Europe. These pilots not only defended Allied forces with distinction, but also challenged the deeply ingrained racial segregation of the United States military. On September 12, 1953, Jacqueline Bouvier threw her bouquet at her wedding to John Kennedy, held at St. Mary's Church in Newport, Rhode Island. The ceremony was a grand celebration, attended by more than 800 guests, reflecting the prominence of both the Bouvier and Kennedy families. Jackie's wedding gown, designed by Anne Lowe, became iconic, showcasing her refined taste and elegance. This marriage marked the beginning of a remarkable journey that would later see her become the First Lady of the United States, admired worldwide for her poise, intelligence, and contributions to art and culture. In March 1945, the Tuskegee Airmen, a renowned group of African American pilots and their support teams, marched in formation, reflecting their discipline and dedication during World War II. As members of the 332nd Fighter Group and 477th Bombardment Group, they earned respect for their exemplary service, successfully escorting bombers and completing dangerous missions across Europe. In November 1944, Thanksgiving dinner at the United Service Organizations Club in Pensacola, Florida, brought servicemen and women together during the hardships of World War II. The United Service Organizations, established to support military personnel, provided a welcoming environment where troops could share a holiday meal and enjoy moments of connection and relaxation. In July 1947, a glamorous publicity photo of Adele Mara appeared in an Argentinian magazine, showcasing her status as one of Hollywood's promising talents. Born in 1923, Adele Mara was known for her versatility as an actress, singer, and dancer, starring in films such as Wake of the Red Witch alongside John Wayne. Her appearance in South American media highlighted the expanding influence of Hollywood during the post-war years, as American cinema and its stars gained a devoted international following. In the 1930s, aboard a train in Jacksonville, Florida, President Franklin Roosevelt embodied the resilience and leadership of the American people during a challenging period. This moment likely captures one of his famous whistle-stop tours, where Roosevelt traveled across the country by train, reaching out to citizens and advocating for his New Deal policies aimed at easing the hardships of the Great Depression. In 1921, Robert Limbert posed with pride on his 1919 Excelsior motorcycle in front of Map Rock near Marsing, Idaho, capturing a moment of adventure in early 20th century America. Limbert, a renowned outdoorsman and explorer, played a significant role in showcasing Idaho's unique landscapes through his travels and writings. His Excelsior motorcycle, celebrated for its durability and performance, allowed him to navigate rugged terrains and embark on journeys that promoted the natural beauty of the region. In the early 1900s, the Boston Opera House emerged as a prominent symbol of the city's thriving cultural landscape, offering a wide range of performances from opera to ballet. Opened in 1909 and designed by the prestigious architectural firm Carrere and Hastings, the building was celebrated for its intricate design that combined elements of Baroque and Renaissance architecture. Around 1880, Port Arthur, Tasmania, served as a grim reminder of its origins as a convict settlement established in 1830. It was here that secondary offenders, those who had committed further crimes, were sent to serve their sentences under harsh conditions. The settlement became a significant part of Australia's penal system, and the timber industry was a major aspect of its economy, with prisoners being used to harvest logs for government projects. Over time, Port Arthur developed a reputation for its extreme discipline and tough labor, with many of the incarcerated individuals enduring severe punishment. In July 1937, Amelia Earhart and her navigator, Fred Noonan, meticulously planned their ambitious flight route across the Pacific Ocean, which would later become a key chapter in aviation history. Their aircraft, a Lockheed Model 10 Electra, was a cutting-edge, twin-engine plane designed for long-distance travel. Despite being equipped for such an endeavor, they faced significant navigation challenges. As they neared the Phoenix Islands, their communication became increasingly difficult, and the pair ultimately vanished without a trace, sparking a mystery that endures to this day. The 1924 eruption of Kilauea, one of the world's most active volcanoes, was a major geological event that attracted global attention. Starting in late June, the eruption produced dramatic lava fountains and massive ash plumes that reached altitudes of over 10,000 feet. The eruption significantly altered the landscape, burying roads and creating new volcanic features, while also impacting air quality across the region. As the eruption continued, it provided scientists with valuable data on the behavior of shield volcanoes and helped to further understanding of volcanic processes. Blanche Monnier, released from 25 years of captivity in 1901, was confronted with a society vastly different from the one she had known. Confined to a small dark room by her mother and brother in Poitiers, France, due to her desire for independence, Monnier's physical and psychological state upon release shocked the public. Her story attracted widespread media attention, revealing the extreme lengths to which her family went to control her and sparking conversations on issues of mental health, domestic abuse, and the rights of women. Monnier's case underscored the struggle for autonomy and personal freedom in a time when women's independence was often stifled by rigid societal expectations. In December 1942, during a challenging 115-mile march from Toccoa to Atlanta, Frank Perconte and Carwood Lipton shared a brief moment of relaxation with their fellow soldiers from Easy Company's 1st and 3rd platoons. The march was part of the grueling training that helped shape the unit's reputation for endurance and camaraderie. This test of physical strength not only forged unbreakable bonds among the men, but also prepared them for the high-stakes missions ahead. These included the D-Day invasion and the Battle of the Bulge, where the soldiers would face some of the war's fiercest battles. Between 1936 and 1938, 2 men were photographed on a Farmall tractor in Scotts Run, West Virginia, showcasing the growing role of mechanization in agriculture. The Farmall tractor, first introduced in the 1920s, revolutionized farming by making it easier to work larger plots of land with reduced physical labor. During the Great Depression, this innovation was particularly valuable for farmers facing labor shortages and economic hardships, helping to maintain agricultural productivity. Between 1936 and 1938, horses were photographed tied at the Virginia Military Institute in Lexington, Virginia, as part of the Institute's long-standing equestrian training program. Founded in 1839, the Institute trained cadets in horsemanship, a skill essential for military service at the time. Horses were still widely used for transportation and military operations, making their presence at the Institute a practical element of cadet training. In the early 1930s, a United States Navy Ford RR-3 aircraft was photographed dropping a parachutist over Naval Air Station North Island, a central hub for naval aviation training. This period saw rapid advancements in military aviation, with parachuting becoming a vital skill for naval aviators and special forces. The Ford RR-3, a reliable reconnaissance aircraft, was instrumental in refining air-sea rescue operations and tactical procedures, contributing to the United States Navy's efforts to enhance its operational effectiveness during this transformative era. On December 24, 1934, the United States ship Holland, classified as Submarine Tender 3, was photographed alongside 7 submarines in San Diego, California, reflecting the United States Navy's increasing emphasis on submarine warfare during the interwar period. Named after John Holland, a pioneer in submarine design, the United States ship Holland provided vital support and maintenance for submarines, ensuring their operational readiness. The Mennonite World Conference Assembly, held in Danzig, Poland, in 1930, gathered delegates from across the globe to discuss faith, peace, and community values. This meeting occurred during a period of growing political and social unrest in Europe as Mennonites reaffirmed their commitment to nonviolence and mutual aid. The Assembly fostered international collaboration among Mennonites and reinforced their focus on social justice and humanitarian work, values that remain central to the community's mission. The single United States Coast Guard General Aviation PJ-2 Antares, serial number V116, was accepted into service on April 16, 1932, marking a significant step in the Coast Guard's aviation capabilities. Designed for versatility, the PJ-2 Antares was used for missions such as search and rescue and maritime surveillance, showcasing the increasing reliance on aircraft for operations at sea. On February 18, 1923, Bergère Stadium hosted a thrilling soccer match between the Union Sportive et Amicale de Clichy and Olympique de Paris as part of the prestigious Coupe de Paris tournament. This competition attracted significant attention in early 20th century French football, with teams battling for regional dominance. The match demonstrated the rising level of skill and enthusiasm for soccer in France, laying the groundwork for the country's growth into a major force in international football. Circa 1933, Albert and Elsa Einstein were photographed on the gangplank of the Red Star liner Belgenland in Antwerp. This moment captured the renowned physicist during a period of significant global tension as the rise of fascism in Europe loomed. At the time, Einstein was not only celebrated for his theory of relativity and other scientific breakthroughs, but also for his vocal opposition to authoritarian regimes. This voyage highlighted his ongoing efforts to connect with the global scientific community while seeking refuge from political upheaval in his homeland. Circa 1936 to 1938, a woman stands with 2 boys near Columbus, Georgia, one of whom holds a car tire. During the Great Depression, many families faced significant economic challenges, making resourcefulness a necessity. Tires were often repaired and reused multiple times to keep vehicles running, as access to transportation was critical for work, schooling, and daily survival in rural areas. This image captures a glimpse of the resilience required to navigate such difficult times. In the 1920s and 1930s, camels played a crucial role in the culture and economy of Saudi Arabia, serving as a primary means of transportation and trade across the vast desert landscapes. Known as the ships of the desert, these animals were indispensable for carrying goods and people, especially during a time when commerce in the Arabian Peninsula was expanding. Despite the emergence of modern infrastructure like roads and railways, camels remained central to the way of life for Bedouin communities, reflecting their adaptability and enduring importance in a rapidly changing region. In the 1930s, Nereo Rocco became a prominent figure in Italian football during his tenure with Unione Sportiva Triestina, where he played as a goalkeeper. Renowned for his sharp reflexes and commanding presence, Rocco contributed to Triestina's competitive performance in Serie A, solidifying his status as a key player of the era. His approach to the game, combining skill and tactical insight, left a lasting impact on Italian football, laying the groundwork for his future achievements as one of the country's most successful coaches. In 1944, during World War II, Allied airfield crews in New Guinea worked tirelessly to maintain fighter planes like the Lockheed P-38 Lightning. Recognized for its twin-boom design and impressive speed, the P-38 was a versatile aircraft that excelled in air-to-air combat and ground attack missions in the Pacific theater. Operating in tropical conditions, the crews ensured these planes were battle-ready, playing a vital role in supporting Allied operations and countering Japanese forces in the region. In the early 1940s, Gannan Prefecture in China served as a critical region during the Second Sino-Japanese War. Chiang Ching-kuo, son of Chiang Kai-shek, was appointed commissioner of the prefecture, where he oversaw governance and military operations. Under his leadership, efforts were concentrated on strengthening resistance against Japanese forces and stabilizing the region through infrastructure development and administrative reforms. These initiatives not only reinforced Gannan's strategic importance, but also played a role in shaping Chiang Ching-kuo's political and military career within the Kuomintang. The 1946 publicity photo of Joan Leslie captures her elegance and prominence during Hollywood's post-war era. Recognized for her roles in films such as The Sky's the Limit and High Sierra, Leslie quickly became a beloved actress, known for her versatility and on-screen charisma. At a time when the film industry was flourishing, her success reflected the growing appetite for entertainment as audiences sought relief and inspiration following World War II. On September 2, 1945, Japanese Foreign Minister Mamoru Shigemitsu signed the Instrument of Surrender aboard the United States ship Missouri in Tokyo Bay, formally ending World War II. This significant event marked the culmination of years of global conflict, bringing closure to one of the most destructive wars in human history. The ceremony was attended by representatives of the Allied powers and laid the groundwork for Japan's transition into a new era, as the country faced the challenges of rebuilding and redefining itself under Allied occupation. In the 1930s, Walhaven Airport in Rotterdam emerged as a key aviation hub, showcasing advancements in air travel during a period of rapid innovation in Europe. The airport adopted cutting-edge navigational systems, including radio navigation and visual aids, to improve the safety and efficiency of commercial flights. These improvements supported the increasing demand for air travel and contributed to the development of modern air traffic control practices, shaping the future of international aviation. In 1939, Finnish middle-distance runner Taistomaki made history in Helsinki by becoming the first person to complete the 10,000 meters in under 30 minutes, setting a world record of 29 minutes, 52.6 seconds. This extraordinary achievement cemented Finland's reputation as a powerhouse in distance running during the 1930s. Known as one of the Flying Finns, Maki's groundbreaking performance showcased the country's rigorous training methods and natural aptitude for endurance events. His record-breaking run inspired future athletes and left a lasting legacy in the world of track and field. In the 1940 photograph of a canoe and duffel being carried during a portage showcases a common practice among outdoor explorers in North America. Canoeing was a widely enjoyed activity, especially in the vast wilderness of regions like Canada and the northern United States, where interconnected waterways provided opportunities for exploration. Portaging, carrying canoes and equipment overland between lakes or rivers, was a vital skill for navigating these remote areas. This challenging yet rewarding practice demonstrated the resourcefulness and endurance required to traverse rugged landscapes and embrace the natural beauty of the wilderness. In 1882, Main Street in Gloucester, Massachusetts, was a bustling center of activity, showcasing the town's strong ties to the fishing industry and its growing industrial presence. As one of the oldest fishing ports in the United States, Gloucester was home to a thriving maritime economy, with shipbuilders, fish processors, and merchants catering to the needs of the community and its seafarers. The street featured a blend of businesses, including general stores and ship chandlers, alongside homes, making it a lively meeting point for both locals and visitors. Spiritual. In the early 1900s, the First Methodist Church in Knoxville, Tennessee, was a prominent institution central to the city's spiritual and community life. Known for its striking architecture, the church attracted a vibrant congregation and served as a gathering place for worship and social events. Beyond its religious role, the church actively supported the community by offering educational programs and aid to those in need, reflecting the broader mission of Methodism to address social challenges. In 1913, an Algerian soldier riding a Ferris wheel at Magic City in Paris exemplified the cultural intersections of a rapidly modernizing world on the eve of World War I. Magic City, an extravagant amusement park that showcased the wonders of technology and entertainment, attracted visitors from various backgrounds, reflecting the diverse social fabric of the time. This image not only captures a moment of joy and leisure amidst the soldiers' military duties, but also highlights the complexities of colonialism and the experiences of soldiers from North Africa in Europe, as they navigated the contrasts between their home cultures and the vibrant, bustling life of Paris. On February 18, 1913, during the Decena Tragica, 10 Tragic Days, Felix Diaz's Felicistas made their last stand at La Ciudadela in Mexico City. Diaz, aiming to overthrow President Francisco I. Madero's government, fought revolutionary forces in a bitter 10-day struggle. Though the revolutionaries prevailed, the conflict marked a pivotal moment in Mexico's turbulent history. In 1938, Henry Ford was awarded the Grand Cross of the German Eagle, an honor given by Nazi Germany, recognizing his business success and his controversial views. The photograph showing Ford with German diplomats Fritz Hayler and Karl Kapp reflects the complex intersection of Ford's industrial achievements and his ties to problematic political ideologies. This event serves as a reminder of the connections between American business figures and totalitarian regimes in the years leading up to World War II. In 1945, the USS Indianapolis played a critical role in World War II, delivering components of the atomic bomb to Tinian Island. Just days after completing its mission, the cruiser was struck by a Japanese torpedo, resulting in one of the deadliest maritime disasters in United States naval history. Out of nearly 1,200 crew members, only 9 Marines survived after enduring days adrift in the open ocean, suffering from exposure, dehydration, and shark attacks. In 1898, during the height of the Klondike Gold Rush, dog sled teams were essential for connecting remote mining communities to the outside world, delivering vital news and information. The Klondike Nugget newspaper became a crucial source for prospectors in Dawson City and surrounding areas, providing updates on mining claims, local events, and the evolving gold rush landscape. In 1920, the United States Census marked a pivotal moment in American history as the first to be conducted after World War I and the influenza pandemic, capturing the social and demographic shifts occurring across the nation. This census was unique in that it did not result in a reapportionment of congressional seats, a consequence of the rapid population changes and political challenges of the time. Chief Anatklash of the Taku tribe, photographed around 1913 in Juneau, Alaska, stands as an important figure in the cultural history of the indigenous peoples of the Pacific Northwest. The Taku tribe, with their rich cultural traditions and deep spiritual ties to the land, faced increasing challenges during this time as Western expansion and resource exploitation encroached on their traditional way of life. In 1925, the indictment of John Scopes, a high school biology teacher in Tennessee, led to the famous Scopes monkey trial, which became a crucial moment in American legal and educational history. Scopes was charged with violating the Butler Act, a Tennessee law that banned the teaching of evolution in public schools, highlighting the growing tension between scientific progress and traditional religious values during the 1920s. This trial drew national attention, sparking discussions about the role of science in education and the influence of religion on public life, marking a turning point in the cultural battles that would define American society in the 20th century. On April 13, 1932, Ivy Russell made history by defeating fellow athlete Tilly Tinmouth, lifting an impressive 369.5 pounds. At 5 feet 7 inches tall and weighing 126 pounds, Russell displayed incredible strength and resilience, breaking barriers in a sport dominated by men at a time when women's involvement in athletics was just beginning to take hold. In 1915, as Japan transitioned from a feudal society to an industrial power, traditional crafts like bucket making continued to flourish. Artisans in rural areas preserved techniques passed down for generations, blending history with the rapid modernization sweeping the nation. In 1925, American author Ernest Hemingway, dressed in white pants and cap, immersed himself in the thrilling world of bullfighting in Pamplona, Spain. This experience profoundly influenced his writing, particularly in his novel The Sun Also Rises, where he explored themes of courage and identity. In 1922, a photograph of Winston Churchill in his swimming suit offered a rare glimpse of the future Prime Minister in a moment of relaxation. Captured during a time of relative peace, this image shows a lighter side to Churchill, away from the weighty responsibilities he would soon shoulder. On July 30, 1924, Elizabeth Becker won gold in springboard diving and silver in highboard diving at the Paris Olympic Games, displaying remarkable skill and determination. Her success brought attention to women in competitive diving and paved the way for future female athletes. In the 1930s, London policemen tested new life jackets by jumping into the River Thames, a practical demonstration aimed at improving safety standards. This initiative highlighted the city's growing concern for public safety, especially in light of increasing urbanization and river traffic. In 1949, a young girl sorting pearls in Japan symbolized the nation's recovery and resilience in the post-war era. The pearl industry, with its rich traditions, played a vital role in rebuilding Japan's economy and restoring a sense of national pride. Circa 1865, a group of Chinese street musicians performed traditional music, bringing the rich cultural heritage of China to life. From the sangxian to the erhu, each instrument told a story, resonating with the vibrant history of Chinese musical arts. On October 23, 1940, Heinrich Himmler and Sagardia Ramos inspected secret NKVD cells in Barcelona, revealing the darker intersections of art and oppression. Designed by surrealist Alphonse Lorenzé, these cells aimed to psychologically break prisoners, showcasing the disturbing application of creativity. In 1943, the Martin PBM Mariner, a versatile flying boat, was crucial for the United States Navy's missions in the Pacific during World War II. Equipped for anti-submarine warfare, reconnaissance, and rescue, the Mariner helped counter enemy threats across vast ocean expanses. After its daring theft in 1911 by Vincenzo Peruggia, the Mona Lisa was recovered in 1913, causing a worldwide sensation. Guards in Florence protected the painting upon its return, underscoring the immense cultural value and significance of Da Vinci's masterpiece. In 1897, amidst the ethnic tensions in Crete, a Turkish child remarkably survived a massacre that claimed 350 lives at the hands of Greek rebels. This tragic event underscored the broader conflicts on the island as Crete sought independence from Ottoman rule. Following the Great Stink of 1858, which saw the Thames become almost unbearable due to sewage, London's sanitation engineers undertook a massive overhaul of the sewer system. Led by Sir Joseph Bazalgette, this project not only addressed the immediate crisis, but laid the foundations for modern urban sanitation. In May 1945, a Soviet tank stood before the shattered Reichstag in Berlin, marking the final days of World War II in Europe. This iconic image symbolizes the end of Nazi Germany as Soviet forces crushed the last pockets of resistance. On January 17, 1932, Adolf Hitler spoke to an audience of young students at the tennis hall on Fehrbelliner Platz. This event was a critical moment in Hitler's rise as he sought to gain the support of Germany's youth amidst the social and economic challenges of the Weimar Republic. Circa 1917, a young Joseph Stalin emerged as a key figure during the Bolshevik Revolution in Russia. Allying with Vladimir Lenin, Stalin played a strategic role in organizing revolutionary efforts and consolidating power, setting the stage for his later ascent to leadership. On March 21, 1896, a group of African-American immigrants gathered in New York, boarding a ship destined for Liberia. Established by freed slaves, Liberia represented a return to ancestral roots and the hope for a new beginning, offering freedom from the racial discrimination pervasive in the United States. In 1919, Canadian sprinter John Howard received congratulations from Nicholas I, the exiled King of Montenegro, at the Inter-Allied Games in Paris. Howard had just finished third in the 100 meters, symbolizing both athletic achievement and camaraderie among Allied nations following World War I. Captured by photographer Roger Fenton in 1855, this rare image shows British and French soldiers relaxing during the Crimean War. Despite the harsh realities of conflict, moments of camaraderie and rest brought soldiers of different nations together, highlighting the shared human experience, even in wartime. On November 4, 1953, Marilyn Monroe arrived at the premiere of How to Marry a Millionaire, captivating the audience with her timeless glamour. This film, featuring Monroe alongside Betty Grable and Lauren Bacall, further cemented her status as a Hollywood icon of the Golden Age. Between 1915 and 1919, French serial killer Henri Désir Landru, known as the Bluebeard of Gambay, preyed upon women he met through personal ads. His capture and subsequent trial drew massive public attention, establishing him as one of France's most infamous criminals. During the Decena Tragica in February 1913, Mexico was thrown into chaos with intense political violence and the overthrow of President Francisco I. Madero. Amid this turmoil, child soldiers emerged, embodying the tragic impact of the revolution on the youngest and most vulnerable. This battleship, steeped in naval heritage, served as the backdrop for the Japanese surrender in Tokyo Bay on September 2, 1945. Representatives signed the documents here that officially ended World War II, symbolizing peace after years of global conflict. The presence of Allied leaders on deck not only marked a military victory, but also set the foundation for new international relations in the post-war world. In 1907, the groundbreaking Iron Man diving suit was introduced, representing an impressive engineering feat of its era. Weighing 450 pounds, this suit was designed for deep-sea exploration with features like an electric charging system and advanced pressure protection. It allowed divers to reach unprecedented depths, opening new horizons for underwater research. In 1915, during the turmoil of World War I, boys in Paris took to the streets to engage in playful air combat, vividly captured by photographer Léon Gimpel. Using their imaginations against the backdrop of a city affected by the war, these children demonstrated resilience and a desire for normalcy amidst chaos. In 1920, as prohibition laws took effect in the United States, Children in Brooklyn were seen scooping up alcohol from the gutters and sewers after it was discarded by law enforcement. This scene reflects the desperate measures taken by many during the era, as illegal liquor became a sought-after commodity and a symbol of rebellion against restrictive regulations. This 1859 photograph captures the early days of the Suez Canal's construction, a project championed by French engineer Ferdinand de Lesseps. Built largely by Egyptian laborers working in grueling conditions, the canal was completed in 1869, forever changing global trade by providing a direct route between Europe and Asia and removing the long voyage around Africa. In the depths of Lake Constance, Switzerland, a Royal Air Force Lancaster bomber from 1944 was discovered, a silent witness to World War II's turbulent skies. It is believed the aircraft went off course, illustrating the immense challenges Allied crews faced while navigating uncharted areas in their missions. In 1914, an umbrella maker in Japan exemplified a blend of traditional craftsmanship and artistry, reflecting the cultural significance of umbrellas in Japanese society. These umbrellas, often crafted with intricate designs and made from materials like washi paper and bamboo, served not only as protection from the rain, but also played a role in festivals and ceremonies. In 1917, during World War I, a remarkable display of patriotism unfolded in Illinois as 10,000 Navy sailors formed a living United States flag. Such events were significant in bolstering public morale and fostering a sense of community as the nation rallied together during a time of global turmoil. In 1922, master butcher Turok Sandor proudly posed with two of his sons alongside a remarkable 420-kilogram Mangalica pig in Turok Szent Miklós, Hungary. The Mangalica, known for its distinctive woolly coat and rich flavor, is prized in Hungarian culinary traditions and represents a heritage of artisanal pig farming. In 1941, during the turmoil of World War II, Arthur Oxford and Georgina Wright exchanged wedding vows in the bombed ruins of St. Bartholomew's Church in East Ham, London. Despite the devastation surrounding them, their union in the heavily damaged church symbolized resilience and the power of love amid adversity. In November 1917, British Mark IV female tanks were loaded onto railway trucks, preparing for deployment to the front lines for the Battle of Cambrai. This significant battle was one of the first to showcase large-scale tank warfare, marking a turning point in World War I by demonstrating the potential of armored vehicles in breaking through enemy lines. In this powerful photograph from October 24, 1943, Australian Sergeant Leonard Siffleet, along with Private Patiwal and Reharan of the Dutch East Indies Forces, stand blindfolded under the watch of a Japanese officer. Captured behind enemy lines in New Guinea, they faced a tragic end with quiet courage, their story etched into history as a testament to wartime sacrifice. This 1945 photograph captures soldiers of the King's African Rifles in Burma, proudly holding a Japanese flag they seized in battle. Recruited from across East Africa, these brave men were instrumental in the intense campaigns of World War II's Southeast Asian theater, exemplifying skill and bravery far from home. This August 1916 photo captures Australian soldiers of the 2nd Division marching back from the fierce Battle of Pozières, passing their comrades in the 1st Division. Exhausted yet unbroken, they had fought relentlessly in the Somme offensive to secure a strategic ridge, leaving a legacy of courage amidst heavy losses. In 1953, driving lessons in the United States symbolized a pivotal moment in American culture as car ownership became increasingly accessible to the middle class. With the post-war economic boom, teenagers eagerly embraced the freedom of the open road, while driving schools flourished, teaching essential skills as families invested in automobiles that defined the era's lifestyle. In 1914, a fierce soldadera, or female soldier, of the Mexican Revolution stands defiantly before the camera, embodying the spirit of women who played crucial roles in the fight for justice and land reform. As the revolution unfolded, women like her not only took up arms, but also provided essential support to their male counterparts. This 1940 photo shows President Franklin Delano Roosevelt with naval officers aboard the United States ship Tuscaloosa. During this voyage, Roosevelt considered the Lend-Lease program, which would enable the United States to supply critical aid to Allied nations, shaping the country's indirect role in World War II and strengthening ties with nations like Britain. On April 15, 1945, soldiers of Company C from the 813th Tank Destroyer Battalion of the United States Ninth Army gather around a 3-year-old Russian child they've just freed near Hürten, Germany. These Russian civilians, used as slave labor by the Nazis, are finally liberated, and this touching moment captures both the innocence of childhood and the resilience of war survivors. In the late 1930s, German Gebirgsjäger, or mountain troops, trained in the Alps to prepare for combat in harsh mountainous terrains. These soldiers were tasked with navigating challenging landscapes and adapting to difficult conditions, skills they later applied in high-altitude operations during World War II. On March 31, 1955, Marilyn Monroe made a memorable entrance at the opening of the Ringling Brothers in Barnum and Bailey Circus in Madison Square Garden, riding an Asian elephant to support the New York Arthritis and Rheumatism Foundation. This glamorous spectacle not only showcased Monroe's star power, but also highlighted her commitment to charitable causes, a facet often overshadowed by her Hollywood image. This photograph captures the jubilant crowds on Peachtree Street in Atlanta, Georgia, on August 14, 1945, celebrating victory over Japan Day. With World War II officially over, the streets overflowed with joy as people gathered to commemorate peace, embracing a future without conflict. On August 2, 1917, Squadron Commander Edwin Dunning made history as he executed the first successful landing of a plane on a moving ship, the HMS Furious, in Scapa Flow, Orkney, Scotland. Piloting a Sopwith Pup, a single-seater biplane fighter, Dunning's achievement marked a groundbreaking moment in naval aviation, paving the way for future aircraft carrier operations. This photograph, taken between 1930 and 1932, shows the crew of the Estonian steel-hulled cargo steamship Esterand. Under the leadership of Captain Boris Sirandi-Nelki, this vessel was a symbol of Estonia's growing maritime industry, a vital part of the nation's economy and international trade during a time of prosperity. Captain Edward John Smith, shown here with his beloved dog on the Royal Mail ship Titanic in 1912, embodied the spirit of loyalty amidst the grandeur of this legendary vessel. As the Titanic set sail on its maiden voyage, Smith, a veteran captain, guided what was known as the most luxurious ship of its time. Tragically, both he and the Titanic met their fate on April 15, 1912, forever marking their place in history. This captivating 1940s to 50s photograph features Spiridon Putin, the paternal grandfather of current Russian President Vladimir Putin, who gained prominence as a personal chef to major Soviet leaders like Vladimir Lenin and Joseph Stalin. His culinary skills also led him to cook for the notorious mystic Grigory Rasputin, placing him at the intersection of power and influence in early 20th century Russia. In the 1950s, the Flying Cars ride thrilled amusement park visitors with its futuristic experience. Inside a rotating drum, riders could control their car's speed and brakes, giving them the sensation of soaring through loops and defying gravity. In 1867, a young boy named Dina Sanichar was discovered in a cave near Rukmapur, India, reportedly raised by wolves. Known as the Wolf Boy, he was around 6 years old and exhibited wild animal-like behaviors, a remarkable case showing the effects of social isolation on human nature. The Pan American Airways flying boat terminal in Miami, Florida, circa the 1940s, served as a critical hub for transoceanic travel during the golden age of aviation. Known for its iconic Art Deco architecture, the terminal embodied the glamour and excitement of air travel at a time when flying boats were the epitome of luxury and adventure, connecting passengers to far-flung destinations across the Caribbean and Central America. The incomplete prototype of the Messerschmitt P-1101 jet fighter, found by a United States Army unit in Bavaria in 1945, represents the innovative aviation technology pursued by Nazi Germany. With a variable sweep wing design to enhance agility, the P-1101 highlighted Germany's commitment to advanced engineering even in the war's final days. In the late 1950s, animators at Walt Disney Animation Studios were hard at work on 101 Dalmatians, a film that would change animation forever. By using the xerography process, they could transfer sketches directly to cells, creating a distinct look and streamlining production like never before. In 1908, the Riga Police Assault Group represented the changing face of law enforcement in the Baltic region during a period of social and political unrest in the Russian Empire. This elite unit was formed to combat rising crime and civil disorder, highlighting the growing challenges authorities faced as revolutionary sentiments spread. On October 30, 1944, crewmen aboard the United States ship Belleau Wood, Light Aircraft Carrier 24, a United States Navy light aircraft carrier, bravely battled raging fires after the ship was struck by a kamikaze attack while operating near Luzon in the Philippines. This assault was part of the intense naval engagements of the Second World War, where Japanese pilots launched suicide missions in a desperate effort to turn the tide of the war. In the background, the United States ship Franklin, Aircraft Carrier 13, another victim of the day's relentless assaults, burned ominously. On November 5, 1936, Tokyo witnessed a remarkable military display as 50,000 students took part in training exercises, equipped with bicycles for rapid deployment to the front lines. This initiative was a testament to Japan's intensifying militarization during the interwar period, as the government prepared its youth for future conflicts amid growing tensions in Asia. On April 19, 1913, Arthur Wizard Stone captivated spectators at Auckland Domain in New Zealand as he flew a Blériot monoplane, showcasing the burgeoning era of aviation. Stone, a pioneering aviator, was known for his daring stunts and aerial displays, which drew large crowds eager to witness the marvel of flight firsthand. Circa 1946 to 47, weightlifter and stuntwoman Relna Brewer McRae and her best friend Stockton were captured in a candid moment as they touched up their makeup in their training spot in Santa Monica, California, embodying the spirit of post-war empowerment for women. During this transformative era, McRae pushed boundaries as one of the few female weightlifters, showcasing strength and athleticism in a predominantly male field, while also performing daring stunts for film and television. On October 6, 1889, the Moulin Rouge opened its doors in the vibrant district of Montmartre, Paris, quickly becoming a symbol of the Belle Époque and a hub of entertainment and artistic expression. The iconic cabaret was famous for its extravagant shows, lively can-can dances, and a clientele that included artists, writers, and celebrities, making it a cultural landmark of the 20s. In 1914, Oscar Matheson posed proudly in his skates covered in medals that honored his unparalleled achievements. As a 5-time world champion and a record setter, Matheson's legacy in speed skating endures as a testament to his skill and innovation in the sport. In 1883, Calgary was a burgeoning frontier town in the heart of Alberta, Canada, known for its rugged cowboys and vibrant cattle industry. The arrival of the Canadian Pacific Railway in 1883 transformed Calgary into a crucial transportation hub, attracting ranchers and settlers eager to capitalize on the booming cattle trade. In 1909, young boys worked tirelessly in a textile mill in Macon, Georgia. Child labor was common in the early 20th century as families depended on every possible income source. These young workers endured long hours and tough conditions, a reality that eventually fueled calls for labor reform in America. This lively scene from 1933 shows the celebration of Prohibition's repeal. For 13 years, the nation had endured strict alcohol bans, but the 21st Amendment finally lifted these restrictions. The joy and relief are evident as Americans embraced a new era of freedom and economic recovery during hard times. In the 1920s, Helen, a Native American switchboard operator at Many Glacier Hotel, bridged two worlds. With feathers in her hair and hands on modern machinery, she embodied a balance between her cultural roots and the advancing technology of her time. Her work reflects both the resilience and adaptability of indigenous communities. The Kennedy brothers, John, Robert, and Edward, pose casually in this 1930s photograph, a quiet moment in the lives of three young men who would each leave a profound legacy. From the White House to the Senate, the Kennedy name would become synonymous with American ideals and ambition. This image from 1908 features Max, the Red Cross dog, alongside a Dietrich motorized ambulance in Vincennes. As one of the first of its kind, this ambulance marked a new era in medical transport. During the 1955 Cannes Film Festival, Sophia Loren's radiant presence captivated all in attendance, marking her rise in the international film industry. As she promoted the gold of Naples, her charm and skill underscored the emerging power of European cinema in the post-war era. In 1918, during the final year of World War I, the New York Women's Machine Gun Squad Police Reserves conducted tests with the Lewis machine gun mounted on a Henderson motorcycle. This unit was formed amid growing concerns over civil unrest and security in New York City, as returning veterans and economic uncertainty created tension on the home front. The squad's exercises reflected the heightened focus on public safety and preparedness in a time of social and economic transition. On June 28, 1944, the B-17 Flying Fortress Queen of Hearts, Little Satan, from the 379th Bomb Group, sustained severe damage during a bombing raid over German targets, illustrating the perilous nature of Allied air missions in World War II. Despite the extensive damage to the aircraft, including the front nose section, Pilot Lieutenant Carl Becker demonstrated extraordinary skill by guiding the crippled plane back to its base in England. In 1947, weightlifter and actor Steve Reeves visited Hawaii as part of his United States tour to promote physical fitness among the youth, accompanied by fitness pioneer Abby Stockton. Known for his remarkable physique and later for his roles in classic sword and sandal films, Reeves inspired a generation with his dedication to bodybuilding and healthy living. In February 1949, an excavation team from the Jordanian Department of Antiquities undertook a pioneering mission to examine the first collection of the recently rediscovered Dead Sea Scrolls, found in Cave 1 at Qumran. These ancient manuscripts, some dating as far back as the 3rd century before the Common Era, provided invaluable insights into Jewish history, culture, and religious beliefs during the Second Temple period. In 1890, the tombs of the Mamluks in Cairo stood as a striking testament to the architectural grandeur and historical significance of the Mamluk Sultanate, which governed Egypt from the 13th to the 16th centuries. This unique dynasty shaped the political, military, and cultural landscape of medieval Egypt, leaving behind monuments that continue to inspire awe and reverence. On August 15, 1941, Australian soldiers disembarked in Singapore, marking a crucial moment as World War II tensions intensified in the Asia-Pacific region. Their arrival was part of the Allied effort to reinforce Malaya's defenses in anticipation of Japanese expansion. Singapore held immense strategic value as a military base, and its defense was considered vital to maintaining Allied influence and security in Southeast Asia during the escalating conflict. In October 1944, as German forces retreated from Thessaloniki, Greece, they set off a series of explosions at the city's port. This strategic location had been crucial for maintaining supply lines during the German occupation. The destruction of the port was intended to disrupt the Allied advance and left a lasting mark of devastation on the city, reflecting the widespread ruin experienced across the Balkans during World War II. On May 15, 1953, Hollywood stars Betty Grable and Marilyn Monroe were photographed at the Cairo nightclub during a celebration for gossip columnist Walter Winchell's birthday. Winchell was a powerful figure in Hollywood, known for his influence over celebrity culture. This event took place in an era when both actresses symbolized contrasting ideals of femininity in post-war America, each leaving an indelible mark on the film industry. In 1945, the ruins of Bezuidenhout in The Hague served as a grim reminder of the tragedies of war. The neighborhood was mistakenly bombed by British planes targeting nearby V-2 rocket launch sites. On September 6, 1898, the crew of the German oceanographic ship Valdivia celebrated their first crossing of the equator with a traditional equatorial baptism. In this maritime rite of passage, inexperienced sailors, or polywogs, were playfully hazed by seasoned crew members known as shellbacks. The Valdivia expedition, led by zoologist Carl Chun, marked Germany's first major deep-sea research mission, exploring previously uncharted marine life. Imam Shamil, seen here in a photograph from his later years around 1865, was a revered leader of the Caucasian resistance against Russian imperial forces. Leading one of the longest guerrilla struggles of the 19th century, Shamil's commitment to protecting the cultural and religious identity of Chechnya and Dagestan made him a powerful symbol of defiance and unity in the Caucasus. In December 1935, Soviet leaders, including figures like Joseph Stalin, Vlas Chubar, Kliment Voroshilov, Vyacheslav Molotov, and Yakov Yakovlev, gathered for a strategic meeting amidst the drive to consolidate power within the Communist Party. This gathering took place during a critical phase in Soviet history, marked by the first five-year plan, which focused on rapid industrialization and forced collectivization. In the early 1900s, Evenk shamans served as vital spiritual figures within the Evenk communities of Siberia. As respected healers and spiritual leaders, they performed rituals rooted in animism, believing in the connection between humans, nature, and the spirits inhabiting the world around them. In 1911, British traveler and archaeologist Gertrude Bell captured this striking photograph of the castle of Kirkuk in Iraq, a fortress with a history that traces back to the ancient Assyrian Empire. The site served as a strategic stronghold for various empires, including the Assyrians, Parthians, and Ottomans, reflecting the complex cultural and historical layers of the region. On November 7, 1917, revolutionaries gathered on the balcony of the former Tsarskaya Selo Palace in Petrograd, declaring the Bolshevik takeover. This pivotal moment marked the beginning of Soviet rule, driven by widespread frustration with the provisional government's inability to address the demands for peace, land, and bread among the war-weary population. The proclamation set in motion events that would reshape Russia and alter the course of 20th century history. In 1938, Shanghai was a bustling hub of commerce and cultural exchange, reflecting a unique blend of Eastern and Western influences. The image of a merchant being pushed in a wheelbarrow captures the daily realities of urban life during a time when the city was a melting pot of various nationalities, including Chinese, British, and Americans, amidst the backdrop of political turmoil and the looming threat of Japanese invasion. This photograph of a Russian trading station in Yakutia, circa 1904, highlights an essential center of commerce and interaction in Siberia. These trading posts were crucial during the Russian Empire's expansion into the Far East, fostering an exchange of goods such as furs, timber, and fish, which were vital to the empire's economy. This late 19th century photograph captures the Yakut people of Siberia preparing tarasun, a traditional milk vodka made from fermented mare's milk. In this early 1900s photograph, Mabel Reigelman sits beside the famous soprano Madame Johanna Gadsky and her daughter. Madame Gadsky, renowned in both Europe and America for her opera performances, was an influential figure, captivating audiences and inspiring young admirers like Mabel with her powerful voice. This early photograph, taken by pioneering photographer Louis Daguerre in 1834, captures the Roman temple of Bellona, dedicated to the goddess of war. Situated near Tossa de Mar, Spain, this temple embodied the grandeur of Roman architecture and its lasting influence across Europe. Though the temple itself has vanished, Daguerre's work preserves a rare glimpse into an ancient past. In 1901, the Koryaks and Tungus, indigenous peoples of Siberia, gathered to watch a duel between young boys, a tradition that served as a rite of passage. Rooted in Siberia's demanding yet majestic landscapes, these duels highlighted the strength and cultural heritage of these resilient communities. On November 1, 1944, British assault troops advanced along the waterfront near Flushing on Walcheren Island, facing fierce German resistance. This critical operation aimed to clear the Scheldt estuary for Allied shipping routes, essential for supplying the liberated ports of Antwerp. Amid bursting shells, these troops fought in a high-stakes campaign that would help sustain the Allied push against Nazi Germany. In the early 20th century, a poor family from Alabama unexpectedly became celebrities after overcoming the debilitating effects of hookworm disease. This illness, often linked to clay eating or geophagia, was common in the South, where it stunted growth and weakened immune systems, highlighting the severe health challenges faced by impoverished communities. On November 1, 1924, the Utah versus Colorado college football game made history as the first game at the newly built Colorado Stadium, now known as Folsom Field. This inaugural matchup marked a turning point for college sports in the Rocky Mountain region, drawing passionate fans to witness the intense rivalry between the two teams. Unity Valkyrie Mitford, a British socialite from the influential Mitford family, became infatuated with Adolf Hitler in the 1930s, eventually becoming one of his close confidants. Drawn to her name, which echoed Germanic mythology, Hitler saw Unity as a symbol of his ideal Aryan woman, interpreting their connection as if it were destined. This rare daguerreotype of Andrew Jackson, captured in April 1845, offers a poignant glimpse into the final months of the 7th United States president's life. Known as Old Hickory, Jackson's presidency was marked by his populist approach, assertive executive power, and divisive policies like the Indian Removal Act, making him one of the most controversial leaders in American history. In 1936, under the Nazi regime, anthropologist Eva Justin subjected marginalized individuals, including a young Roma woman, to unsettling examinations. These pseudoscientific efforts sought to categorize and dehumanize groups like the Roma, using flawed theories of racial purity to fuel systematic discrimination and horrific acts of violence. Sergeant Gander, the loyal mascot of the Royal Rifles of Canada, became a wartime legend for his bravery during the defense of Hong Kong in World War II. In October 1941, as Japanese forces closed in, Gander made the ultimate sacrifice by charging at a grenade to save his comrades, earning him posthumous honors as a true war hero. This poignant moment, captured during the liberation of Alsace in 1944, shows a French soldier in a heartfelt embrace with his mother after 2 years apart. Amidst the celebrations of the Allied advance, their reunion symbolizes the hope and resilience of those returning to their homeland after the long years of war. The 1909 World Series saw a historic clash between Ty Cobb and Honus Wagner, two of baseball's greatest players. With the Detroit Tigers facing the Pittsburgh Pirates, Wagner showcased his skill, leading the Pirates to a hard-fought victory in 7 games and solidifying his place in baseball history. In October 1944, during the liberation of Breda in the Netherlands, a soldier from the 1st Polish Armored Division offered a moment of joy and camaraderie by allowing a Dutch girl to ride on his BSAM 20 motorcycle. This powerful image of Patriarch Alexei I addressing the faithful under Stalin's portrait reflects the delicate balance the Russian Orthodox Church had to maintain with the Soviet state. From 1945 until his death in 1970, Alexei led efforts to restore the Church's standing and rebuild its shattered communities, embodying resilience during a period of intense ideological tension. During a nuclear test in May 1955, mannequins placed in the Nevada desert mimicked human exposure to the devastating effects of an atomic bomb. These lifelike dummies helped scientists understand the blast's impact, offering critical insights into the destructive potential of nuclear weapons. This chilling scene encapsulates the Cold War's arms race, raising profound questions about the cost of scientific progress in an age of unprecedented destruction. In September 1953, John Fitzgerald Kennedy married Jacqueline Lee Bouvier in a celebrated outdoor wedding that captured the nation's imagination. The ceremony, held at St. Mary's Church in Newport, Rhode Island, was a grand event attended by prominent figures from politics and society. This union brought together 2 powerful families and set the stage for John Kennedy's ascent to the presidency, marking the start of an era that would redefine American politics and culture. Captured in stunning Kodachrome around 1946, this image highlights the skilled female aerialists of the Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus. Their daring aerial routines and acrobatic prowess made them stars of the greatest show on earth, delighting audiences with unforgettable performances. Around 1905, a rare and breathtaking sight emerged as frozen Niagara Falls transformed into a stunning winter landscape, captivating onlookers with its icy beauty. This extraordinary phenomenon occurred during a particularly harsh winter when frigid temperatures caused the cascading waters to freeze partially, creating a surreal scene of ice formations and mist. The image of Niagara Falls in this frozen state not only highlights the power of nature, but also reflects the enduring allure of one of North America's most iconic landmarks, drawing visitors who marveled at its majestic beauty even in the depths of winter. This 1912 photograph of a young samurai in full armor symbolizes Japan's delicate balance between tradition and progress. As the country embraced modernization, the samurai, a fading warrior class, remained a powerful emblem of cultural identity. Captured with the advanced autochrome Lumiere technique, this image is a testament to a Japan on the brink of transformation. The first official World Chess Championship took place in 1886, marking a pivotal moment in the history of the game. Held in the United States, it featured a fierce competition between reigning champion Wilhelm Steinitz and challenger Johannes Zukertort, showcasing not only their exceptional skills, but also the growing popularity of chess as a serious sport. This tournament set the stage for future championships and established the framework for competitive chess, solidifying its status as a respected intellectual pursuit worldwide. This 1940s photograph of Margaret and Mary Gibb, conjoined twins, reflects their remarkable journey through life. Margaret, shown here with her boyfriend, defied societal expectations, while the sisters' bond had inspired both curiosity and compassion. The Gibb twins became enduring symbols of resilience and humanity in a world that often saw them as a spectacle. In 1946, Pasadena hosted the Southern California Archery Association tournament, bringing together skilled archers in a celebration of precision and tradition. With a post-war focus on outdoor activities, archery gained widespread appeal, boosted by its Olympic presence and Hollywood's fascination. Events like this became milestones in building a thriving archery community. In the early 1940s, Tommy Tucker, a stylishly dressed squirrel, became a beloved icon in American pop culture. His charming antics and fashionable wardrobe captured hearts across the nation, culminating in a Life magazine feature in January 1944. Amid the turmoil of World War II, Tommy brought a sense of joy and whimsy, offering a much-needed escape for the American public. In 1945, the Kingman Army Airfield in Arizona became the final resting place for thousands of B-17 Flying Fortresses, iconic bombers of World War II. Produced in staggering numbers to support the Allied war effort, many of these planes were brand new but declared surplus after the war's end. This vast graveyard of aircraft reflects the immense scale of wartime production and the transition to peacetime, marking the end of an era for these legendary bombers. In 1954, following the decisive Battle of Dien Bien Phu, French soldiers were escorted by Vietnamese troops to prisoner-of-war camps. This historic defeat marked the collapse of French colonial rule in Vietnam and the rise of nationalist movements across Asia. In 1865, Major General William Tecumseh Sherman and his staff stood at the forefront of the Union's military strategy during the final stages of the American Civil War. Renowned for his March to the Sea, Sherman implemented a strategy of total war that aimed to dismantle the Confederacy's resources and morale, significantly contributing to the Union's victory. His innovative tactics and leadership not only reshaped the landscape of warfare, but also left a lasting impact on military strategy and the reconstruction of the South in the years that followed. This 1917 autochrome shows a snow-covered street in Chauny, Picardy during World War I, its once bustling townscape reduced to ruins. The serene snowfall contrasts sharply with the destruction wrought by bombings and occupation, highlighting the devastating impact of the war on everyday life. This poignant image captures both the fragility of human endeavors and the resilience of nature amidst the chaos of conflict. Eugene Bullard, the first African-American fighter pilot and a decorated war hero, endured a brutal attack by law enforcement in Peekskill, New York in 1949. Having fought for liberty overseas during World War I, Bullard returned to a country that denied him the same rights. This moment stands as a powerful symbol of the racial injustices faced by African-American veterans at home. Katie Sandwina, born Katharina Brumbach in 1884, was an Austrian strongwoman renowned for her impressive feats of strength in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Circa 1900, she captivated audiences in the German Empire by lifting her sister during her performances, showcasing her extraordinary abilities and stage charisma. On October 13, 1917, in Fatima, Portugal, thousands of pilgrims gathered to witness the prophesied miracle of the sun, following the visions of 3 shepherd children. Many reported seeing the sun dance and move across the sky, leaving the crowd in awe. This extraordinary event cemented Fatima's place in religious history, inspiring devotion and shaping Catholic beliefs for generations. Dr. Mary Edwards Walker, serving as an assistant surgeon during the Civil War, made history as the only woman to receive the Medal of Honor for her bravery and dedication to her patients. Circa 1864, she worked tirelessly on the front lines, often risking her own safety to provide medical care to wounded soldiers, regardless of their allegiance. Walker's groundbreaking contributions not only challenged the norms of her time, but also paved the way for future women in medicine and military service, leaving a lasting legacy in both fields. Armistice Day, November 11, 1924, saw Dublin's College Green filled with people for the unveiling of a Celtic cross dedicated to the 16th Irish Division. This solemn tribute honored Irish soldiers who served in World War I, highlighting the bravery of those who fought under the British flag despite the rise of Irish nationalism. The Celtic cross became a lasting symbol of both the sacrifices made and the ongoing journey towards recognition and unity in post-war Ireland. On November 11, 1944, British Prime Minister Winston Churchill and French General Charles de Gaulle made a historic appearance together as they walked down the Avenue des Champs-Élysées during the French Armistice Day parade in Paris. This event marked a significant moment of unity and celebration, symbolizing the liberation of Paris from Nazi occupation just months earlier, and underscored the strong alliance between Britain and Free France during World War II. In 1918, on the Western Front of World War I, an Australian soldier was captured, comforting his wounded American comrade. This touching moment reflects the camaraderie and shared humanity that emerged amidst the horrors of war. As the conflict neared its end, such acts of kindness symbolized the bonds forged on the battlefield, transcending national boundaries. This autochrome shot from 1914 captures King George V and Queen Mary of Great Britain, a royal couple who played a significant role during a tumultuous period in history. As World War I loomed on the horizon, their reign marked a time of both national pride and uncertainty, with the monarchy striving to maintain stability in a rapidly changing world. King George V's decision to change the royal family's name from the House of Saxe-Coburg and Gotha to the House of Windsor in 1917 reflected the growing sentiment of nationalism, solidifying their connection to the British people during a time of conflict and upheaval. The photograph known as the happiest man in China, taken in 1901 by British anthropologists, captures a moment of cultural misunderstanding and spontaneity. During this period, Western explorers and scholars were eager to document the diverse peoples of China, often unaware of the local customs and the significance of photography. The subject's playful pose and broad smile reflect a lightheartedness that contrasts with the serious intentions of the photographers, highlighting the clash between Western and Chinese perspectives during a time of significant social and political change in China, including the aftermath of the Boxer Rebellion and the rise of nationalism. In the 1920s, Budapest was a vibrant hub of culture and fashion, reflecting the grandeur of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. A Hungarian woman, elegantly dressed in a long coat, embodies the era's sophistication as she strolls along the Danube riverbank, her tilted hat and stylish handbags showcasing the latest trends. This period marked a significant transformation for Hungary, as it emerged from the shadows of World War I, embracing modernity while cherishing its rich heritage, making the riverbank a picturesque backdrop for both daily life and social gatherings. The Castle Romeo test, conducted in March 1954, was a pivotal moment in the United States atmospheric nuclear testing program, yielding an explosive force of 11 megatons. This test was part of Operation Castle, a series of tests aimed at developing and demonstrating the capabilities of thermonuclear weapons during the Cold War. The detonation took place at Bikini Atoll in the Marshall Islands, and its massive fallout and environmental impact sparked significant public concern and debate about the consequences of nuclear testing, ultimately influencing future arms control discussions and policies. Louis Napoleon, Prince Imperial, was the only son of Napoleon III, and his life was marked by the weight of his father's legacy and the tumultuous politics of 19th century Europe. After the fall of the Second Empire in 1870, he lived in exile, yearning to reclaim the glory of his family's name. Tragically, he met his end in 1879 while serving as an officer in the British Army during the Zulu War, a poignant reminder of the complexities of identity and loyalty that defined his short life and the enduring impact of the Bonaparte dynasty on European history. On October 22, 1943, the German submarine U-537 anchored in the remote Martin Bay of Labrador, Canada, marking a significant moment in World War II as it offloaded components for Weather Station Kurt. This clandestine operation aimed to gather crucial meteorological data to aid German U-boat operations in the North Atlantic, reflecting the strategic importance of weather and naval warfare. Jean Ballerin's remarkable bravery during the cavalry charge at Umbrega on January 2, 1941, stands as a testament to the valor of soldiers in the tumultuous North African campaign of World War II. Amidst the chaos of battle, he distinguished himself by single-handedly defeating 4 enemy combatants with his saber, showcasing not only his skill but also the fierce spirit of the cavalry, during a time when traditional mounted warfare was becoming increasingly rare. On October 6, 1944, Dutch soldiers from the Princess Irene Brigade played a crucial role in the liberation of their homeland during World War II. Formed in exile in the United Kingdom, this brigade comprised Dutch volunteers who were determined to fight against Nazi occupation and restore freedom to the Netherlands. Their bravery and resilience in the face of adversity exemplified the spirit of resistance among occupied nations as they engaged in fierce battles to reclaim territory, contributing significantly to the Allied efforts in the liberation of Western Europe. In 1921, the Africville Seasides of the Colored Hockey League of the Maritime proudly posed for a team photo, representing a significant chapter in the history of black hockey in Canada. Africville, a vibrant black community in Halifax, Nova Scotia, was home to many talented athletes who faced racial discrimination yet persevered to create their own league and showcase their skills. In circa 1889, the imprisonment of Mormon polygamists at the Utah Penitentiary marked a significant chapter in the conflict between federal law and the practices of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Polygamy, which was a cornerstone of early Mormon beliefs and community life, faced increasing legal challenges as the United States government sought to enforce anti-polygamy laws in an effort to promote monogamous marriage and integrate Utah into the Union. The jailing of these polygamists not only highlighted the tensions between religious freedom and governmental authority, but also set the stage for the eventual decline of the practice within the LDS Church, culminating in its official renunciation of polygamy in 1890 under pressure for statehood. On May 6, 1934, the Manchukuo Scouts engaged in a symbolic flag exchange with Japanese scouts in Xinqing, now known as Changchun, Jilin Province, highlighting the complex relationship between Japan and its puppet state, Manchukuo. Established in 1932 following Japan's invasion of Manchuria, Manchukuo was portrayed as a sovereign nation. But it was heavily influenced and controlled by Japan, which sought to legitimize its occupation. This event not only underscored the collaboration between the two groups, but also reflected Japan's efforts to foster loyalty and a sense of identity among the local populace amidst rising tensions and resistance against foreign domination. In 1941, during the height of the Second Sino-Japanese War, Chinese soldiers in Chongqing deployed acoustic locators to detect incoming Japanese warplanes. These early warning devices, resembling large parabolic structures, played a vital role in defending the city against relentless aerial bombardments by providing precious time to prepare for attacks. Despite limited resources, Chinese forces showcased remarkable ingenuity and resilience, using such technology to protect their cities and citizens. On September 19, 1914, a shell struck the iconic Notre Dame de Reims Cathedral during World War I, marking a tragic moment in the conflict that would lead to significant destruction of this Gothic masterpiece. The cathedral, a symbol of French heritage and resilience, suffered extensive damage as a result of the bombardments, which were part of the German offensive aimed at capturing Reims, a key strategic location. The attack not only devastated the architectural beauty of the cathedral, but also served as a poignant reminder of the war's brutal impact on cultural landmarks, galvanizing efforts to preserve and restore the site in the years following the conflict. In mid-1944, a young Gerald Ford, seen here leaping on the left, played basketball aboard the aircraft carrier USS Monterey during World War II. Recreational games like this in the forward elevator well offered sailors a rare moment of relaxation amidst the tension of the Pacific theater. Ford, who would later become the 38th President of the United States, exemplified the camaraderie and resilience that sustained servicemen during the war as they faced the immense challenges of the conflict against Japan. In 1925, an officer halted traffic to allow a cat carrying a kitten to safely cross the street, capturing a charming moment that reflects the lighter side of urban life in the early 20th century. This whimsical scene not only highlights the compassion of the officer, but also underscores the growing recognition of animals in society as they began to be seen as cherished companions rather than mere pets. Such incidents remind us of the simple joys and unexpected moments of kindness that can emerge amidst the hustle and bustle of city life, resonating with people across generations. In 1947, during the launch of Christian Dior's groundbreaking new look, Parisians famously tore a dress off a model in a frenzy of excitement. Dior's collection, with its opulent fabrics and dramatic silhouettes, symbolized a return to femininity and luxury after the austerity of World War II. This chaotic yet iconic moment reflected the transformative impact of Dior's vision, forever changing women's fashion and establishing him as a revolutionary force in the industry. Between 1910 and 1915, a barber at the Hotel de Gink in New York City's Bowery offered shaving and haircut services to itinerant workers and hobos seeking a place to rest. This unique establishment provided affordable lodging and a sense of dignity for those on society's margins. In 1941, Grand Central Station was a bustling hub of New York City, embodying the energy of a metropolis on the move. Built in 1913, this Beaux-Arts masterpiece, with its celestial dome and grand concourse, became a landmark for travelers and locals alike. As the United States approached World War II, the station played a crucial role in transporting troops and resources, standing as a symbol of optimism, connectivity, and resilience during an era of profound global change. In 1860, a samurai from the Satsuma domain, armed with a longbow, symbolized Japan's rich martial traditions during a period of profound political change. The Satsuma domain, renowned for its formidable samurai class, played a pivotal role in the events leading to the Meiji Restoration, which aimed to modernize Japan and dismantle its feudal system. In 1946, United States Army personnel meticulously organized evidence of the Holocaust to support the Nuremberg trials, a defining moment in the pursuit of justice and international law. This critical work involved documenting atrocities committed by Nazi leaders, including testimonies and harrowing records that expose the full scale of the genocide against Jews and other oppressed groups. The trials not only sought justice for the millions of victims, but also set a global precedent for prosecuting war crimes, reinforcing the world's resolve to prevent such horrors from happening again. On July 14, 1939, General Aubert Frère, military governor of Strasbourg, participated in a grand Bastille Day parade, riding proudly on horseback through the streets of Alsace. This display of national pride came at a tense moment in history as Europe stood on the brink of World War II. For the people of Alsace, a region historically contested between France and Germany, the parade symbolized both unity and resilience. In 1865, Abraham Lincoln was photographed with a slightly different hairstyle than his iconic look, offering a glimpse of a more relaxed and informal side of the 16th president. Taken during the final months of the Civil War, his appearance reflected the immense burden of leadership while maintaining the approachable demeanor that endeared him to many Americans. This photograph captures a moment of humanity in one of history's most pivotal figures, shortly before his assassination, which forever altered the course of the nation. In May 1945, a Martin P. BM-5 Mariner from Fleet Air Wing 1 refueled from a fuel Bowser boat in Tanapag Harbor, Saipan, during the critical final stages of World War II. This versatile flying boat was essential for maritime patrol, reconnaissance, and search and rescue missions across the Pacific. As Saipan became a vital strategic base for Allied forces, moments like this highlighted the importance of air power and logistical coordination in the effort to reclaim the Pacific Islands from Japanese control. In the fall of 1945, American military police were stationed in a red light district in Seoul, South Korea, as the city began to recover from the devastation of World War II. This period marked a significant transition for Korea, as it was adjusting to the presence of American forces and the complexities of post-war occupation. The photograph by Army photographer Don O'Brien captures not only the military's role in maintaining order, but also reflects the cultural and social changes occurring in Seoul as the city navigated its new reality in the wake of liberation and the impending division that would shape its future. In 1944, the crew of the B-17 Flying Fortress Hells Angels from the 303rd Bombardment Group, 358th Bombardment Squadron, stood gathered near their legendary aircraft, a powerful symbol of American air superiority during World War II. Renowned for its relentless bombing missions over Europe, the Hells Angels played a vital role in the Allied strategic bombing campaign against Nazi Germany. Around 1900, Tsimshian men wore intricate ceremonial attire in a powerful photograph captured by Benjamin Alfred Haldane, highlighting the rich cultural heritage of this indigenous group from Alaska. The Tsimshian people, renowned for their vibrant art and totem poles, used these garments during significant rituals and gatherings, symbolizing their deep connection to their land and traditions. In 1916, a photograph of a temple doorway in French Indochina offers a glimpse into the region's rich cultural heritage during the colonial era. The intricate architecture, blending traditional Khmer and Vietnamese styles, highlights the temple's role as a spiritual hub for the local community amidst the complexities of French colonial rule. The presence of two boys in the frame adds a human touch, symbolizing the enduring transmission of cultural traditions to younger generations, even in a time of profound political and social change. On July 15, 1945, Norris Bradbury, the group leader for bomb assembly, stood next to the partially assembled Gadget atop the test tower at the Trinity site in New Mexico. This moment was a critical milestone in the Manhattan Project, leading to the world's first atomic bomb test the following day, an event that would reshape history. After Julius Robert Oppenheimer's departure, Bradbury became the director of Los Alamos National Laboratory, where he oversaw the continued development of nuclear weapons, navigating the complex scientific and ethical challenges of the atomic age. In the final days of World War II, scientists and engineers worked relentlessly to complete the Fat Man atomic bomb, which was dropped on Nagasaki on August 9, 1945. This plutonium-based bomb, developed at Los Alamos as part of the Manhattan Project, marked a significant advancement in nuclear technology and was designed to deliver an unprecedented level of destruction. The catastrophic impact of Fat Man, along with the bombing of Hiroshima 3 days earlier, led to Japan's surrender and marked a pivotal, albeit controversial, moment in the history of warfare and international relations, as humanity faced the far-reaching consequences of nuclear power. In 1934, a daring group of acrobats balanced atop the iconic Empire State Building, demonstrating their extraordinary skill and the bold spirit of New York City during the Great Depression. Completed just 3 years earlier in 1931, The Empire State Building was then the tallest structure in the world, standing at 1,250 feet, a beacon of human ambition in a time of economic despair. This breathtaking performance was not just a feat of physical prowess, but also a reflection of the era's resilience, as New Yorkers sought moments of joy and spectacle to lift their spirits. The image of these acrobats high above the city captures the adventurous essence of a society determined to rise above its challenges, both figuratively and literally. In 1884, the Statue of Liberty was under construction in Paris, a joint endeavor by French sculptor Frédéric-Auguste Bartholdi and engineer Gustave Eiffel. Designed to commemorate the centennial of American independence and symbolize the lasting friendship between France and the United States, the statue was constructed with a framework of iron and a skin of copper. This photograph captures the workers assembling the statue's colossal pieces, including the iconic hand and torch. The project embodied the spirit of innovation and collaboration, resulting in a masterpiece that, upon its arrival in New York Harbor, would become a global symbol of freedom and democracy. In 1924, the Eiffel Tower underwent a major repainting project, a vital effort to maintain its structural integrity and timeless appeal. Originally built for the 1889 Exposition Universelle, the tower requires regular maintenance to protect it from corrosion caused by the elements. During this extensive refurbishment, workers applied multiple layers of paint high above the Parisian skyline, ensuring its resilience for years to come. This restoration not only refreshed the tower's iconic appearance, but also reinforced its role as a cherished symbol of Paris, preserving its place in the evolving architectural narrative of the 20th century. In February 1934, workers at Hoover Dam were busy pouring concrete into its massive columns, marking a critical phase in the construction of this engineering marvel. The first concrete had been poured on June 6, 1933, and by the end of the project, over 3.25 million cubic yards were used for the dam itself, with an additional 1.1 million cubic yards for the power plant and other structures. To manage the intense heat generated during curing, engineers embedded over 582 miles of cooling pipes into the concrete. Completed in 1936, the dam was not only a monumental project of the Great Depression that provided thousands of jobs, but also an infrastructure feat that controlled the Colorado River, supplied irrigation water, and produced hydroelectricity, fueling the growth of the American Southwest. In 1938, Dr. Edward Bloch, a Jewish physician who had treated Adolf Hitler's family, was photographed in his office in Linz, Austria. Dr. Bloch had cared for Hitler's mother, Clara, during her battle with breast cancer, earning Hitler's gratitude. Despite the rampant anti-Semitism of the Nazi regime, Hitler referred to Bloch as a noble Jew and offered him protection. This unusual relationship allowed Bloch to continue his medical practice longer than most Jewish doctors of the time. However, by October 1938, his practice was forcibly closed, and he faced increasing restrictions. In 1940, with assistance from Nazi officials, Bloch emigrated to the United States, escaping the persecution that consumed much of Europe's Jewish population during World War II. In August 1922, members of the Cretan Club gathered at Canvey Island, Essex, donning their distinctive floral-patterned cretonne shirts and dresses, which became a defining feature of their gatherings. The group was photographed playing leapfrog on the beach, capturing the joyful leisure activities that characterized the post-World War I era. Cretonne, a durable cotton fabric with bold floral designs, was widely used for both clothing and home furnishings, symbolizing a return to domestic comfort and vibrancy. The club's activities and attire reflected a broader cultural shift of the 1920s, as communities embraced lightheartedness and togetherness after the hardships of the war. In 1927, a woman is seen sewing at the Black Manufacturing Company in Seattle, a prominent factory known for its Black Bear brand of work clothing. Founded in 1902, the company employed over 300 workers, most of them women, and produced thousands of garments daily. This period marked a significant shift as women increasingly entered the workforce, embracing economic opportunities and redefining their roles in society during the transformative 1920s. In approximately 1916, United States Navy Lieutenant Mark Andrew Mitcher is seen seated in a Curtiss A-type seaplane at Naval Air Station Pensacola, Florida, marking an early chapter in the history of naval aviation. Mitcher, one of the pioneers of military flight, would later become a key figure in World War II, commanding aircraft carriers and shaping the tactics of modern naval warfare. The Curtiss A-type seaplane, an advanced design for its time, reflects the Navy's growing recognition of the critical role of air power in maritime strategy during the early 20th century. On May 23, 1947, Jean Duquet, crowned Miss Tampa, garnered attention by modeling a two-piece bathing suit, reflecting the post-war cultural shift towards greater freedom and boldness in women's fashion. Her appearance coincided with the rising popularity of the bikini, which had been introduced just a year earlier, symbolizing a new era of body positivity and evolving standards of femininity. On February 23, 1912, New York City was struck by a powerful storm with winds reaching up to 110 miles per hour, causing widespread destruction across the city. The violent gusts damaged buildings, uprooted trees, and shattered street infrastructure, exposing the fragility of urban design to extreme weather. This event not only underscored the immense force of nature, but also sparked discussions on enhancing the city's resilience and preparedness for future climate challenges. Librado Rivera and Enrique Flores Magón were key leaders of the Mexican Revolution, championing social justice and political reform during the early 20th century. As influential members of the Mexican Liberal Party, they advocated for anarchist and socialist principles, openly opposing the oppressive rule of Porfirio Díaz. Their efforts not only inspired revolutionary movements within Mexico, but also resonated with labor and immigrant communities in the United States, highlighting the struggles of the Mexican people and the urgent need for systemic change. The launch of the USS Shangri-La aircraft carrier 38 in 1944 was a landmark moment in United States naval history during World War II. As one of the final Essex-class aircraft carriers commissioned, the Shangri-La was named after the mythical utopia from James Hilton's novel, symbolizing hope amidst the war. Designed to support large-scale air operations, the carrier played a vital role in pivotal battles in the Pacific, including the Philippines and Iwo Jima. Her launch showcased the industrial strength of the United States and marked a turning point in the development of naval aviation, solidifying the aircraft carrier's critical role in modern military strategy. In March 1945, members of the United Service Organizations visited the USS General R.M. Blatchford, a transport ship active during the World War II, bringing much-needed entertainment and morale-boosting activities to the crew. As part of their mission, the USO provided live performances, recreational programs, and a connection to home for servicemen stationed far from their families. Their presence not only lifted the spirits of the troops, but also underscored the importance of community support in sustaining morale during one of the most challenging times in American history. Around 1949, a model aircraft carrier was displayed at the Naval Air Station Twin Cities in Minnesota, symbolizing the post-World War II advancements in naval aviation and the United States' focus on military preparedness during the early Cold War. This model not only highlighted the innovative designs of modern aircraft carriers, but also emphasized the strategic significance of naval power in an evolving global landscape. Exhibitions like these at naval air stations served to educate and train personnel, ensuring they were equipped to handle the complexities of modern naval operations. On August 21, 1948, Mrs. Ed Hartzler was photographed carefully inspecting her shelves of canned goods in Alpha, Minnesota, embodying the post-war values of self-reliance and home preservation. After World War II, canning became a widespread practice among American families, particularly in rural areas, as a means of ensuring food security and reducing dependence on store-bought goods. The practice of canning dates back to the early 19th century when it was first developed in France, but it gained immense popularity in the United States during the Great Depression and World War II due to rationing and food shortages. In 1945, the United States Army Air Force's Kellett XR-8 helicopter conducted notable hovering flights at Philadelphia Airport, demonstrating cutting-edge advancements in rotorcraft technology. Designed as a prototype during the early 1940s, the XR-8 featured a dual-rotor system with offset horizontal rotors, a revolutionary innovation aimed at improving stability and eliminating the need for a traditional tail rotor. This experimental aircraft not only showcased the technological ambitions of the era, but also laid the foundation for future progress in helicopter engineering, significantly influencing rotorcraft design and performance in the following decades. The barbecue at James Heisler's house in Jacksonville, Florida, epitomized Southern hospitality and the sense of community during the mid-20th century. Barbecues like this were more than just meals. They were social events where families and neighbors came together to share food, stories, and laughter. Featuring traditional Southern flavors and grilled meats, these gatherings reflected the region's deep culinary roots. In April 1913, the magnificent East African lions, collected during the Smithsonian Roosevelt African Expedition of 1909 to 1910, were unveiled in Mammal Hall of the newly established United States National Museum, now called the National Museum of Natural History. Expertly mounted by taxidermist George B. Turner, the exhibit showcased 3 adult lions and 2 cubs arranged in a lifelike scene at an African water hole. This display highlighted the splendor of wildlife and reflected the early 20th century fascination with exploration and conservation, as museums aim to educate the public about Africa's diverse ecosystems and the importance of their preservation. In 1919, 6 individuals stand proudly beside a Curtiss Oriole at an aviation meet in Houston, Texas, showcasing a milestone in early American aviation. In the background is a Curtiss JN biplane with the name Sterling Edmund Jones Cox, paying tribute to Sterling Edmund Jones Cox, a trailblazing aviator who founded Houston's first commercial airline the same year. Operating a fleet that included the Curtiss Jenny and 2 Curtiss Orioles, Cox's Southern Aircraft Company played a key role in introducing commercial aviation to Texas, reflecting the rapid advancements in air travel during the post-World War I era. In 1916, Wilbert Robinson, one of the most renowned figures in baseball history, became the manager of the Brooklyn Dodgers, a position he would hold for 18 seasons. Robinson, affectionately nicknamed Uncle Robbie, led the team during a pivotal era of Major League Baseball, steering them to their first National League pennant in 1916 and again in 1920. Known for his innovative strategies and nurturing leadership, he earned a reputation for developing young talent and fostering a strong sense of team camaraderie. Under his guidance, the Dodgers evolved into a competitive force, cementing Robinson's legacy as a cornerstone of Brooklyn's storied baseball tradition. In the early 20th century, near Big Springs, Nebraska, a covered wagon pulled by jackrabbit mules shared the trail with an automobile, creating a striking contrast between the old and new. This rare scene symbolized a pivotal moment in American history as traditional forms of transportation began to coexist with the automobile, heralding the modernization of the nation. Jackrabbit mules, known for their speed and endurance, were a unique sight, reflecting the ingenuity of rural settlers adapting to their environment. Meanwhile, the arrival of automobiles marked the start of a technological revolution that would forever transform the landscape of the American West. In this photograph from the early 1900s, Bill Snyder poses with Hattie, a famous elephant who captivated audiences with her tricks at Central Park. Hattie was a key part of the zoo and circus culture of the time, drawing crowds fascinated by exotic animals and live performances. This image captures a moment of trust and camaraderie between a trainer and his elephant. Between 1910 and 1915, worming at Belmont Farm for girls highlighted the institution's focus on agricultural education and hands-on learning. The program equipped young women with essential farming and animal care skills, fostering independence and resilience. Belmont Farm was a groundbreaking initiative, empowering its students while advancing women's education in the early 20th century. Between 1910 and 1915, the Floating Hospital was a pioneering initiative that provided medical care to underserved communities along the waterways of New York City. This unique hospital, situated on a barge, was staffed by dedicated nurses who not only delivered essential health care, but also promoted public health and hygiene in an era plagued by urban poverty and disease. The Floating Hospital marked a turning point in healthcare accessibility, demonstrating the value of mobile medical services and highlighting the critical contributions of nurses to community well-being during the early 20th century. In 1916, Mary West Niles led a transformative women's class at Canton Seminary, exemplifying the growing movement for women's education in the early 20th century. The seminary focused on empowering young women through academic learning and spiritual development, creating an environment where they could expand their intellectual horizons and cultivate leadership skills. Mary West Niles' dedication to education not only inspired her students, but also contributed to the societal changes of the time, encouraging women's active roles in both public and private life and laying the foundation for future generations. In 1912, the frozen harbor of Gloucester, Massachusetts, created a picturesque yet challenging winter scene for its coastal community. Renowned for its maritime heritage, Gloucester faced significant disruptions to its fishing industry as icy waters halted regular operations. During these months, locals displayed remarkable adaptability, finding alternative livelihoods while maintaining their enduring connection to the sea. This photograph not only captures the serene beauty of a frozen harbor, but also tells a story of resilience and determination in the face of nature's challenges. In 1915, the acclaimed actress Blanche Sweet sat for this stunning portrait by renowned photographer Hartsook, epitomizing the elegance of early Hollywood. A trailblazer of silent cinema, Sweet was admired for her compelling performances and was among the first to bridge the gap between stage and screen. This image not only captures her timeless beauty, but also symbolizes her vital contribution to the evolving film industry during its formative years. In September 1905, Norway received its first shipment of bananas, weighing 3,000 kilograms, marking a significant milestone in the nation's culinary history. This event was made possible by Christian Mathieson, a former sea captain and businessman who later founded Norway's largest fruit importer, Bama. Mathieson had secured exclusive rights to import bananas to Scandinavia after an encounter with British banana importer A. Roger Ackerley during a train journey from London to Newcastle. Interestingly, Norway became the second European country, after the United Kingdom, to import bananas. This tropical fruit quickly gained popularity and reflected the expanding global trade networks of the early 20th century. In November 1941, the Royal Navy's aircraft carrier HMS Illustrious docked at the Norfolk Naval Shipyard in Virginia, for essential repairs after sustaining severe battle damage during the Mediterranean campaign. Earlier that year, the Illustrious had been heavily targeted by Italian dive bombers, exposing the vulnerabilities of even the most advanced naval vessels in intense aerial combat. The carrier's repair and modernization at an American shipyard symbolized the critical cooperation between the United Kingdom and the United States during World War II.